Jerky is one of my favorite things to make with venison. I like to save a couple roasts just so I can kick off the next season with one last batch of jerky from the last season. I spent a lot of time tweaking my flavors to get them the way I like them. I'm going to give you my secret recipe and show you how to make some homemade jerky up next. I'm your host Evan. Welcome to Hunting Lessons. Thanks for joining me on Hunting Lessons. This weekend puts us 1 week out from the archery opener here in Alberta. Now it seems fitting to go into the next season eating the last year meat from the previous season, so today we're going to take a break from our preps out on the ground and get into the kitchen. Now don't worry, we'll be back outside soon, so make sure that you subscribe down below this video, follow us as Hunting Lessons on Instagram so you catch all of our future episodes. 18 years ago when I was a brand new junior officer, I had a company sergeant major who made some of the best jerky I've ever had. I was lucky enough that his office was right across the hall from mine, so I ended up getting quite a bit. That's when I fell in love with jerky. I'd always wanted to make my own, but I never got around to it until I started filling my freezer with my own hunting meat. So Bernie, if you ever see this, thanks. I experimented with flavors over a lot of batches and tweaked the ingredients until I got to the recipe that I'm using now. I wanted a jerky with a bit of sweet, a bit of heat, and some smoke. So I came up with my own marinade. I'll put the recipe in the show notes down below in case you want to try using it for yourself. The one thing I got out of junior high home ec 23 years ago was to start with your dry ingredients, go on to your wet ingredients, put it all away as you use them. So let's get mixing those up. Dry and my wet ingredients prepped, it's time to slice up the roasts. I sliced mine about a 1/4 inch thick. It's not critical they're perfect, but shoot for consistency. If you end up with slices that are thicker on one end than the other end, one end's going to be ready to come out of the dehydrator while the other end's still going to need more time. One note on slicing up your meat: when you go to slice it up, if you slice across the grain as opposed to down the grain, your venison's going to be a whole lot easier to chew. Now that I got my meat all sliced up, I can combine my dry and my wet ingredients into the big bowl. And once you've got it all combined, go ahead and put in your meat. Then you want to get this all mixed all around so that make sure you got your marinade covering all your meat. And once you're happy with that, go ahead and put it in the fridge for the night. Good morning. Time to get this on the dehydrator. So this is the dehydrator I use for making jerky. I've had it forever, and I also use it for drying out fruit or making fruit leathers with applesauce. It's a Nesco American Harvest, and while it's as far away from high-end as you can possibly get, it's been completely reliable for everything I've ever put in it. Also, you can get additional rings for this, so you increase the capacity. You can also get tray liners, order those in for making your fruit leathers. So the other thing I wanted to show you, because it's not the most common ingredient, is this liquid smoke that I use. I've been using this particular brand since I started making jerky. It's got a great flavor, and when I started using it, I could only find it in specialty food stores. So I've put the links to Amazon for both the dehydrator and the liquid smoke down below in the show notes. And even if you don't pick those things up on Amazon, If you take the 15 seconds before you do your regular Amazon shopping and just click on those links on below our videos, that gives us the resources that we need to keep making these videos for you, and your support is very much appreciated. Okay, so when you put your meat on the trays, just do the Tetris thing and fit as many on as you can without overlapping them. And several hours later you can start checking your trays, see which pieces of meat are done, and you're going to have to manage that as your pieces dry out, because the smaller pieces are going to dry out quicker than your bigger pieces. Well, it's supper time and the first pieces are ready to come off the dehydrator. You know they're ready when you bend them and you start to get that cracking in the meat, but just to be sure, better test it out. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. That is not going to last until next Saturday. Well folks, I'd love to hear what you think of the recipe. Drop me a line at contact@huntinglessons.net and let me know what you think. Also, you can send me a note anytime and let me know what you'd like to see on future episodes. Also, if you know of anyone that could benefit from what we're doing on this channel, I'd be very appreciative if you would spread the word. Well, that's it for today. Next weekend I'll be into 2018 archery season and I can't wait. Folks, thanks again for joining me on Hunting Lessons, and until next time, keep learning.